Here we have a question from a previous exam paper where we need to find the fourth root of 81 multiplied by 10 to the power of 8. Now, if we rewrite this, it may make it easier for us to solve. So the fourth root of 81 multiplied by 10 to the power of 8 is the same as this to the power of 1 over 4. Because here we are raising this to the power of 1 over 4. So we will take this denominator and fourth root everything as we have here in this question. So now that we have it in this format, it's a little bit more easier to actually break down and simplify. So if we're raising this to the power of 1 over 4, we need to apply this power to everything within this bracket. So that will give us 81 to the power of 1 over 4 multiplied by 10 to the power of 8. We're raising this power here to another power, so we multiply together. So that will give us 8 multiplied by 1 over 4. The fourth root of 81 will be 3. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. 10 to the power of 8 times a quarter is 8 over 4, which is just 2. 10 to the power of 2 is 100. So this will give us a final answer of 300. On B, we need to find the value of 64 to the power of negative a half. So whenever we have something to a negative power, we do 1 over the whole number. And this power now becomes positive. So this is the same as the square root of 64, which is 8. For part C, we need to write 3 to the power of n over 9 to the power of n minus 1 as a power of 3. So we need to convert everything in this fraction to have a base number of 3. So the numerator is fine. It's just the denominator which we need to change. So 9 is the same as 3 squared. So we can substitute 3 squared for 9. And then we're raising that to the power of n minus 1. Now when we raise one power to another, we multiply together. So that will give us 3 to the power of 2n minus 2. So if we rewrite this fraction, we now have 3 to the power of n over 3 to the power of 2n minus 2. Now when we're dividing numbers that have the same base, we subtract the powers. So base 3, n minus 2n, minus minus is a plus, so we plus 2. This gives us a final answer of 3 minus n plus 2. And if we just rearrange this so the positive is at the front, this gives us our final answer. Now for our next question, if you want to pause the video here and have a go, and we'll mark it together once you're done. Okay, now this question is 4 marks, and there's quite a lot going on at the moment in this fraction. So I think if we simplify each of these numbers first, that will help us solve this fraction. So starting off with this first number here, we've got a mixed number, 5/4 to the power of negative a half. So first, if we just make this into a improper fraction, so 9 times 5 plus 4 is 49 over 9 to the power of minus a half. We are raising this to a negative power, so we do 1 over the whole number. And the negative now becomes positive. And when raising a fraction to a power, we apply this power to the top and the bottom. So if we're raising it to a half, that's the same as square rooting. So if we rewrite this, it'll be the square root of 49 over the square root of 9. So this will be 1 over 7 over 3. Now if we rewrite this, we would have 1 divided by 7 over 3, which means we need to flip the second fraction and multiply, which then gives us a simplified answer of 3 over 7. For the second number here, again a mixed number, so we just need to convert this into an improper fraction. 12 plus 2 is 14. Okay, fine. For the denominator, 2 to the power of minus 3, negative power, so we do 1 over 2 to the power of 3, which is 1 over 8. So now we've simplified all of the numbers in this fraction. We can now substitute these in. So if we rewrite this, we will have 3 over 7 multiplied by 14 over 3 divided by 1 over 8. Now let's multiply the numerator first. So 3 times 14 will give us 42 over 21 divided by 1 over 8. Now 42 over 21 divided by 1 over 8 is the same as 42 over 21 multiply, and we flip the second fraction, 8 over 1. So 8 times 42, 8 times 10 is 80, times that by 4. It's 320 plus 16. It's 336 over 21. Now let's try and simplify this. So if we try to divide this, 336 divided by 21, so our final answer is 16. Next question here. We've got 16 to the power of 1 over 5 multiplied by 2 to the power of x gives us 8 to the power of 3 over 4. Work out the value of x. So in order to work this out, it would help if we could convert this 16 and this 8 into base numbers of 2. So 16 is 2 to the power of 4, and 8 is 2 to the power of 3. So if we replace 16 with 2 to the power of 4 and 8 with 2 to the power of 3, we can then simplify and find out what x is. So if we rewrite this question, we'll have 2 to the power of 4 to the power of 1 over 5 multiplied by 2 to the power of x, which equals 2 to the power of 3 to the power of 3 over 4. Now when raising one power to another, we multiply together, so this will give us 2 to the power of 4 over 5 multiplied by 2 to the power of x. And again, we're raising one power to another, so we just multiply across. So this will give us 2 to the power of 9 over 4. So here we have two base numbers which are the same, so we add the powers. So this will give us 2 to the power of 4 over 5 plus x, which equals 2 to the power of 9 over 4. So now we have the same base number, so we can directly compare the powers with each other. And as these two equal one another, we can rewrite this as 4 over 5 plus x equals 9 over 4. So if we just rearrange this to make x the subject, we can take this over. So x equals 9 over 4 minus 4 over 5. So if we cross multiply, it equals 45 over 20 minus 16 over 20, which gives us a final answer of 29 over 20. Now this is a calculator paper, so we can use our calculator to check whether this is correct. So if we use our calculator here, now if we take the final answer, 8 to the power of 3 over 4, just to see what this value is, 4.7568. So just for our reference there. Now if we input 29 over 20 into this first half of the equation, we should get this number here. So 16 to the power 1 over 5 multiplied by 2 to the power of 29 over 20. We get the same answer, so we know that this value is correct. For our next question here, we need to write down the value of 64 to the power of a half. Now anything to the power of a half just means to square root, because if we take this 2 over here, we are rooting this number. So the square root of 64 equals 8. For part B, we need to find the value of 8 over 125 raised to the power of minus 2 over 3. Now, as discussed earlier, wherever we see a negative power straight away, the first thing we do is do 1 over the whole number and turn this power into a positive. So everything else stays the same, and we just change this. Now for this denominator, we need to cube root everything and then square the final answer. And because we have a fraction, what we do to the top, we need to do to the bottom. So if we rewrite this, this will be 1 over the cube root of 8 over the cube root of 125. And whatever this answer is, we will square it. So the cube root of 8 is 2. And the cube root of 125 is 5. And then we just need to square this fraction. So that will give us 1 over 2 squared, which is 4, over 5 squared, which is 25. Now if we write out this fraction, it will be 1 divided by 4 over 25. Now that is the same as 1 multiplied by 25 over 4. So 25 over 4 is our final answer. Now for the final question here, it's worth 2 marks. I would like you to have a go. Just pause the video here and we'll mark it together once you're done. Okay, so for this question, we've got ax to the power of 6 raised to the power of 1 over n, which equals 7x to the power of 3. Work out the value of a and the value of n. Now, first of all, if we're raising something to a power, we need to apply this power to everything inside. So if we work this out, this will give us a to the power of 1 over n, x to the power of 6 multiplied by 1 over n, which is 6 over n, because we're raising one power to another, equals 7x to the power of 3. Now these two equal each other, which means that a to the power of 1 over n equals 7, as this is the number in front of x. And it also means that x to the power of 6 over n equals x to the power of 3. We can see that with the same base number, 6 over n equals 3. Therefore, if we rearrange it, 6 divided by 3 equals n. N is 2. So if we substitute n is 2 into this, we would have a to the power of a half equals 7. So now we want a on its own. So when we have something to the power of a half, it means we're square rooting. So if we want to take this over, if we're square rooting on this side, we will be squaring on this side. So that will be a equals 7 squared, which gives us a value of 49.